Hello. So I have a little slowly developing theory going on right now, and I have the time because I got diagnosed with pneumonia at the hospital. It's not funny, but it kind of is. So I have a lot of downtime. So I was listening to this Tupac interview, like just this little clip, and he was talking about rich people and sharing all these things. It was making me think about generational wealth, and that's a huge conversation right now. And I was wondering why it's such I was wondering why like rich people who are extremely wealthy, like billionaires or like millionaires who are in the hundreds of millions, why they don't share as much as they could. Like, why don't they give away half of their net worth? Something that drastic. Then I was thinking about charities and things like that. And the first thing I was thinking about is like, when we're talking about generational wealth for these people, they're probably talking like 7 generations down the line, like years that we don't even think about right now when it comes to humanity, because we're just focused on like the next 100 years and maybe next 200 years. But I feel like these people are thinking about several hundreds, even maybe thousands of years in the future, because, and I'm not sure how it works on other planets, but on Earth, I'm pretty sure that when it comes to reincarnation, you're more likely to be born into the same family than you are to be born into a completely different family, especially if you have things to work out, if that family is also like a soul family, which oftentimes it is, especially right now on Earth. A lot of family members who are born together are also soul family. And so it's interesting that we have this big hunt for your soul family, because they're probably living in your home, but perhaps don't match your expectations of what you consider soul family to be, or what you think they should be. But I'm sure you also aren't matching their expectations. Sorry. But yeah, so I was like, when they're talking about generational wealth and leaving a legacy, it's not just, selflessly for their descendants. And I mean, when we talk about it, like as Black people, and we're like, guys, we need to, let's focus on generational wealth. It's not just for our descendants, because we are our descendants. It's also for us. It sucks being born into poverty, and it is not the ideal. And I think part of also like the karma of what's happening on Earth is that what has happened with the way that humans have developed and the level of greed that certain members of our species have taken on and allowed to spread over the whole of us and over the whole of the planet, we've not only taken away the opportunity for quality life for many people, but we've taken away the opportunity for just natural generational wealth. The earth is a very abundant place and is naturally able to provide a life that's actually quite luxurious, especially depending on what region you're living in. If you're living in a region that's, like tropical, you're really lucking out. But even in places where you're having all 4 seasons, like in Canada, in places like Ireland, the UK, all of those places, still, it's in its natural state when you are not experiencing all of these effects of greed. It's a quite abundant place and can be naturally providing to the point where you don't actually need to worry so much about leaving for the next generation, as long as you are being an active caretaker of the earth. But because we have abandoned that, well, I wouldn't say we, because a group of people on this planet have abandoned that promise and that commitment to take care of the earth, to give as you take, to give as you receive, the right to, natural generational wealth has been taken. So now it's something that has to be earned. And I think that rich people might be super paranoid about that, maybe more than average people have the capacity to even be, because you're just too focused on what's going on right now, and maybe, providing for your children and maybe your grandchildren, but you're maybe not thinking like great. Some people are, but a lot of us are hoping our kids, our grandkids, maybe even our grandkids, making sure we can do something for them, leave something for them. But I feel like the chances that you reincarnate directly after you die, and so within like those first few generations of your family, I think it's pretty rare most times, because the soul needs quite a bit of time to heal. And some people do just move right on to the next life. But I also think that there's probably a waiting period, and because time works differently in the spiritual realm than it does here on earth, I think it's probably a bit of time. But you want to make sure that you secure that quality of life for your family, and especially with the lack of hope happening right now with the future of our world, and feeling like, you know, there's a chance that even if you aren't focused looking that far ahead in the future, that you're still going to be able to live a good life. I don't think a lot of rich people believe that, you know, the security of their future is assured, given the way that things are going and the projected trajectory. I don't think they have as much hope as the everyday person. And so that's why I think that they hoard so much wealth. More than, I mean, it's selfish, but I also think it's like it's anxiety and it's fear about their own future. Even if it's not conscious, it could be subconscious, but I don't know, that makes sense to me. It's totally a theory. It's not based in anything other than what I'm just thinking. And I was thinking also about like charities and things like that, and I'm like, maybe also the reason why rich people, and now it's being told to us, don't like to give without having like a track record of what they've given and like have something that gives them back, is because they like to make sure that cycle is like implemented into their reality, where their good work is being noted and then they are being repaid for that, you know, like trying to instill almost like a universal law into your life so that it just becomes natural and a part of you. I also think, you know, the way that things are moving right now, with everything being about manifestation and trying to create your abundance, and a lot of that being done through writing your manifestations, writing your dreams, creating a plan, everything being written, because the written word is spell casting and it's very powerful. I think that also relates to charities, because, you know, everything is written out. All that you've given is written out. All that you're receiving is written out. And I wonder if that also is supposed to be tracked in the spiritual realm, because like as above, so below. So if you're giving a lot, and I wonder if there's also like a certain percentage that is like universal, like universally accepted for how much of your wealth you give, that makes it so that you are deemed like good in terms of being of service and being gracious. And I wonder if we could track all celebrities, or many rich people, not celebrities, because it's not usually celebrities that are actually that wealthy, but just the wealthy people. If there would be a consistency around like the percentage of the amount of wealth that they have, how much they've given. I bet that you can find that there's a percentage that is consistent amongst all of them. And for some reason, my mind is feeling like 3%. You know, I wonder if it's like, if they all give that 3%, and then that also helps like fast track them in terms of karma, picking up what they're putting down and making sure that they're getting what they deserve. But because a lot of us regular people aren't like tracking what you give most of the time and aren't writing out as much, I wonder if that's why karma has been so delayed for so many people who it feels like should be receiving a lot more than they have, and because they've given so much, not just because they've given so much, but just because it just seems right. A lot of things are out of balance, but I almost feel like it's because maybe the uber wealthy have like hacked the system in a way and have clogged it up by making sure that they're always getting their karma, their good karma, and it's like delaying everybody else. I don't know, because I wonder, you know, like we have systems down here on earth and they're so intricate, and the common saying is always as above, so below. So if there's intricate systems down here on earth and it is very methodical, then I imagine there must be a system up in the universe. It's not just la-di-da, you know, God wiggles his finger and is like, you get a check, you know? I feel like there must be a bit of a system to it. So those are just some things that I was thinking about. But yeah, what Tupac was saying just made me think about that. It was this like Donald Trump clip. I think that it wasn't about Donald Trump. It was about rich people. And like making sure that Black people get their own, and giving and receiving and just being balanced. And I liked what he was saying, because he was like, you know, Black people have been a really good friend to the United States and to many countries all around the world. And, you know, if you're looking at it like a relationship, we have not been treated very kindly in return. But I guess it's not a friendship, so that's the first thing to know. But it could be. Anyways, yeah, that's it, I guess.